It's fair to say that the C-Class has been a massive success for Mercedes. In fact, it's the company's biggest selling car since 1982 with 10.5 million sold. Who would have thought it? And they've been busy working behind the scenes on a brand new model coming any minute now. I've got the lowdown and I'm going to tell you all about these cars, starting with the looks. First impressions, Mercedes have shown off saloon and estate versions of the car. There's no coupe as yet. Both look really cool, but the thing that gets me is, look at the saloon. It looks like a baby S-Class. Obviously there are lots of tiny little differences, but overall the designs are very similar. One of the main differences you can find in the headlights, where you get a single dot instead of the 3 dots. The E-Class has 2 dots, by the way, so that's an easy way to tell Mercs apart. You also get a central star in the grille, along with lots of tiny little 3-pointed stars all around the front section of some versions. It's quite a nice touch. Along the side, Mercedes say that it has a cab backwards design. In other words, the glassy area, the windows, the windscreen, the back window, etc. have been moved further back, but it's quite a subtle effect. I can barely make it out if I'm being honest with you. Anyway, it also has a new shoulder line, or a catwalk line as Mercedes likes to call it. That's the line that runs from the headlight underneath the mirrors all the way back to the rear lights. You also get a lower crease, which again just works to make the car look a bit less like a slab of metal. The old car had these elements as well, but they weren't quite as strong. Around the back, again, the lights are the same shape as an S-Class. The only thing missing is maybe some chrome elements. Otherwise, the two are very similar. On the whole, a very good looking car, this thing. I like it. Inside, it's even more like an S-Class that's shrunken in the wash. Look at the middle screen, straight out of the S-Class. More on that in just a second. First of all, take a look at the dash. It's been split into an upper section with a leather finish and 3 central vents backlit by ambient lights, which look great by the way, and a lower section which has a variety of different finishes of your choice, again with ambient lighting surrounding it. Speaking of ambient lights, you get these in the doors too, around the smart looking interior door handles and armrest section and in the floors. They haven't gone quite as crazy as the S-Class. That thing has ambient lights that make it look like a disco, but overall looks fantastic. Merc have hit another home run. The star of the show inside the new C-Class is probably that big central portrait screen, 9.5 inches as standard or 11.9 inches if you want the upgraded version. This has the same user interface as you get in the S, which looks quite complicated at first, but it's actually quite straightforward once you get your head wrapped around it. Below the screen, you get a set of physical shortcut buttons for your driving mode, your volume, etc., and a fingerprint reader that lets you log into your unique driver profile, which loads up your presets for your seat position, etc. And you can even make purchases when you log in. You can download extra apps and features, a bit like you can with a tablet. As for the steering wheel, well, that's basically what you get on the E and S-Class, with a mixture of physical and capacitive buttons for controlling the main screen and the driver display, which in this case is either a 10.25 inch or a 12.3 inch screen, depending on which version you go for. Although in this case it doesn't have the 3D option that you see on the S-Class, which is a bit of a shame. As for other cool technology you might want to know about, well, you get the Hey Mercedes voice assistant, which in this case has smart home features baked in, so you can use it to control a range of internet connected things in your home. It works with Bosch Smart Home and Samsung Smart Things, so in theory you could use it to control appliances like your kettle. You can ask your car to make you a cup of tea before you get home. Or your heating, you can interrogate your home alarm motion sensors. You can say things like, "Hey Mercedes, is there anyone inside my house right now?" And your car will tell you which rooms last had movement in, which is brilliant and creepy. As for space, the saloon version is 65mm longer, 10mm wider, and it has 25mm longer wheelbase. And the estates are also slightly bigger as well, but with slightly different dimensions, which means that you get more space inside. For the saloon, you get 13mm more shoulder room, 21mm more legroom, and 15mm more elbow room. It's more spacious at the front as well, with 22mm more elbow room and 26mm more shoulder room. If you're wondering what 20mm looks like, it's about an inch, just under. A little goes a long way. Something else you might want to be aware of is the fact they've improved the seat massaging function. At the front, the massage function now covers the entire backrest, so you get an improved deep tissue effect. Nice. Plus, you now get seat heating in the rear for the first time in the saloon and the estate versions. Now, engines. Mercedes, and this will come as a surprise to zero people, are leaning quite heavily into electrification. All the engines will be 4-cylinder of one type or another with various levels of electrification. The top petrol model will be a C300. That's good for 0 to 62 in 6 seconds. Pretty good. This uses an integrated starter generator, which gives you an extra 15 kilowatts or 20 horsepower and 200 newton meters, so the engine doesn't have to work quite as hard, which in theory means better fuel economy. Although the figures for economy are still unconfirmed, so watch this space. There will be no all-electric version of the C-Class as far as I'm aware, but there will be a C300E plug-in hybrid later on, which should give you an EV-only driving range of 100 kilometers or 62 miles. Mercedes also promised that this version will be able to drive up to 87 miles an hour using electric power alone. So it actually sounds pretty decent. We don't know any other details for this engine at the moment, but the fuel economy with that level of electric support is probably going to be through the roof. I'm expecting a massive MPG figure for this car. It's definitely going to be the most interesting powertrain in the C-Class range, until the C63 comes along, that is, although that will also be a 4-cylinder hybrid. Sounds like sad times actually, but if it looks like this, then, I'm willing to give it a go. So that's the new C-Class. Lots of interesting new features to make what was already a pretty good car a potentially even better one. One that actually looks better than the new E-Class and maybe also starts to rival the S-Class, at least for features. We'll tell you more about the car in the not too distant future, including pricing information. But for now, I'll sign out by saying that the saloon and estate versions can be ordered from the 30th of March 2021 and will arrive in dealer showrooms in the summer of 2021. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you want one? Is it the best mainstream Mercedes of all time? Only time will tell. See you next time, guys. Peace.